We have the Recovery Playbook once again for you, and I am so blessed to have my dear friend who is a sound bath guru, a woman in recovery, and just a beautiful, beautiful creature. Her name is Susy Schieffelin, and I'm so blessed to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Greg. It's so wonderful to be here with you today.
We have grown up a little bit, haven't we?
Yeah.
Huh. Real quick, I just have to jump up. You have 3-something years of sobriety.
Yeah.
And you've built this beautiful business. Tell me about that journey. Tell me about that journey.
It's been incredible. So right in the beginning of my sobriety, I attended a sound bath, an experience where you lie down and are bathed in healing vibrations of sound. And it was truly a life-changing experience that I really feel helped me to experience sobriety in a whole new way. I'd been struggling to get sober for over 5 years.
Okay.
And in this sound healing experience, it felt like I had come home to myself. And as I continued to attend sound baths, the cravings, the desire to reach for things outside of myself to make myself feel better started to fall away, and I started to feel more empowered to make healthy decisions in my life. So before long, I was going to a ton of sound baths, and pretty much everyone I knew was like, what are these sound baths, Susy? Like, we see these massive shifts taking place in your life. Like, you're sober, it's sticking, the light's back in your eyes, you're bright, you're happy. What are they? And I was like, I need to learn this so I can share it with people.
Wow.
So I started studying sound healing. I started studying Reiki. I started training in yoga and sharing it with the world. And here I am today.
So how did you, I know you learned how to do it, but when you went to go do it for the first time, walk me through that.
So I'd been training with a mentor for about 6 months, a man named Guy Douglas, and he's wonderful, and with him I learned to play the gong. But I felt really, really called to play the crystal bowls. So I got my own set of crystal bowls and started working with another mentor who guided me in that direction. Guy had taught me how to hold space, how to really work with the energy of a group. And then once I started working with the crystal bowls, it took things to a whole nother level. My first public sound bath was on the beach. I had left my corporate job a month before, knowing that I was ready to step fully into this path, and I wasn't totally sure on what it would look like. So to be honest, I just waited and meditated. I went and took a course called Vipassana, where I sat in silence in the desert for 10 days. And when I got back from Vipassana, these downloads started to come through. And one day that message was, Susy, go to the beach, invite everyone you know, and hold the sound bath. And so I did. I just texted all my friends. I texted everyone that I knew, especially my recovery community. I said, hey, this thing's been helping me so much. Come experience a sound bath. And 26 people showed up, and I held the space. I played my bowls, and it was really history from there. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good stuff. So I just love your story, but I need to go back up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I need you to talk a little bit about your rock bottom. And then what was your recovery playbook that first year? What kept you sober for those 365 days? Tell me, tell our audience about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my rock bottom was, I was living in New York City, and I had known for some time that, I really needed help. I'd been trying to stop drinking. At that point, for me, sobriety looked like taking alcohol out of the picture. So for years it had been, going for 6 months without drinking, but still taking prescription pills, still smoking weed, eating mushrooms, whatever it may have been, and it always led me back to the drink, and it always led me back to that place of darkness. So I ended a relationship that I'd been in for 11 years because it became very clear to me that being in that relationship wasn't going to be conducive for me getting sober. But once I got rid of that other person, there was no one to blame other than myself. And so I sort of spiraled out. Like, I knew I needed to change and I just couldn't. And it ended up that one night all I remember was sitting in my bathtub with all my prescription bottles around me and wanting to take my own life. And miraculously, I woke up the next morning. And my sister and my mom came into New York City from the country and said, Susy, are you ready to get help? And I did. And so from that point, I was in a place of surrender. Yeah. But I will say that my sobriety journey wasn't linear. So from there, I went to rehab where I got rid of everything for a month, stopped drinking, stopped taking pills, all of it, totally clean, came out of rehab, didn't have a recovery playbook in place. And within a few days, met up with friends from rehab, smoked some pot. And so for that first year where I didn't drink, because to me, I knew that, I can't drink. Yeah. I can't drink, and the prescription pills, I didn't want to be part of that anymore, but I was like, weed never had any, real serious effect for me. I smoked a few times with friends. And thank God I did, at that point, start to incorporate some practices in my life that were guiding me, I can see now, towards real recovery, real sobriety. I started meditating. I started a daily gratitude practice. I was in therapy, and eventually...
You going to meetings? Do you have a sponsor?
No.
Okay, not yet. Okay.
I had been to a few meetings,
yeah.
But I was really resistant. I was really resistant to it. They would be like, you need to get a sponsor. I'd be like, no. Like, I didn't want to be told what to do. Like, I wanted to do it my way.
What was your resistance? What was that little voice inside you saying?
I'm fine. Okay. I mean, the truth is, my parents are both sober, and they are not involved in a 12-step program. And so I didn't understand the concept of being dry. I didn't understand that you need a community. And I love my parents dearly, but I can see that in many ways, they've been dry for much of my life. And so they're sober, but they're not free.
Oh, yeah.
And so that
we know
first
the
year,
difference, and we totally know the difference.
Yeah, I was like really wrestling with that, where I was like, I wasn't free. I was still having a lot of anxiety. I was still suffering and trying to figure it out and do it my way. That led me eventually, though, to move out to California. A bunch of magical series of events brought me out here, and I thought, well, I have this opportunity for a fresh start. Maybe I should, give this whole 12-step thing a shot. Maybe I should make friends who are sober with this clean slate that I have. So I did. I started going to meetings, and one of the first meetings that I went to was a meeting where I actually celebrated my first birthday. I thought I was sober, so I told everyone I have a year. I haven't drank in a year. And that night, the message that I heard at the meeting was, be honest. It was, get a sponsor. It was, don't be dry, do the work, and you can experience freedom. And when I left that meeting that night, I had a panic attack, but I had taken a lot of phone numbers from people, one of whom became my first sponsor.
Wow.
Yeah. And so miraculously, after that date, didn't smoke pot anymore. And started working.
And then reset your sobriety date.
Yeah, which didn't happen immediately either.
Of course.
I was still completely in denial.
Of course, that's what we do.
Yeah, I was in my fifth step with
You're
my
making
sponsor.
up your own rules as they go.
100%, 100%. Like, this is fine, this is what worked for me. It wasn't till I was in my fifth step with my sponsor, telling her that I resented the people I'd smoked pot with in sobriety, and she's like,
Let's talk about
that.
Yeah, that sponsor look that we've all seen, yes.
Totally.
Yes, I get it, for sure.
So, but ultimately it came down to me recognizing that the real sobriety I'd had in those few months of working the steps and being with a community and in a program and experiencing the freedom and the relief from suffering that I'd experienced in that short period of time was worth it. I could see already in just that short period of time that all we have is today. And so, yes, it's great to have time, but it's just a number. Yeah. What matters is what's real. And so I did change my sobriety date, and really, really grateful to have over 3 honest years of complete sobriety now.
I love it.
Yeah.
Great story. I have to ask you, of all people, who is God, or what is a higher power to you? How do you see it?
Yeah. God is love. God is that infinite light that's within us all. It's the truth. It's everything. Everything is God if you choose to see it that way. I think one of my teachers said, if you can't see God in all, you can't see God at all. Got it. And so for me, God is recognizing that I'm a perfect child of God. You're a perfect child of God. Everything is exactly the way it's meant to be if I choose to see the miracle in the moment.
There are 3 core words around recovery that are resentment, shame, and forgiveness. I've been asking all my guests to kind of comment on all 3, but the one I think you can help me with, forgiveness. Yeah. How do we get there? How do we get there?
Acceptance. Okay. Forgiveness of someone else is really forgiveness of yourself, and self-forgiveness can oftentimes be the hardest thing to do. But just as I was saying with with the topic of God. It's like if you can see that everything is perfectly as it needs to be, then you can accept it, and then you can find forgiveness. And it's that compassion for yourself to know that, you know, you've just been doing the best you can, and everyone else is just doing the best that they can, and we need to go through what we need to go through to learn the lessons that we're here on this planet Earth to learn. And if we can open ourselves to see those lessons, to receive them, then that's the point, you know? And we don't need to hold on, because when we hold on to...
We get dragged.
Yeah.
We get dragged.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's poison. The first two words you said, you're like resentment and shame. Like what I hear is poison. Poison. It's a seed of poison inside of you. Yeah. And that poison can only be healed. The only antidote is forgiveness. You know?
Perfect.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your success.
Yeah.
Tell me some of the places you've been in the last year that people are calling you up and saying, come do your magic with us.
It's been incredible.
So tell my audience a little bit about your success.
It's been truly beyond my wildest dreams. In May, I led a retreat in Mount Shasta. It was really a beautiful experience. I led it with my sister. In August, I got to play crystal bowls at the Hollywood Bowl.
I saw that. Amazing, amazing.
So that was really cool. And for me, that was a really special experience because the people were showing up to hear the LA Phil, LA Philharmonic, and not recognizing consciously that they were getting a healing experience. Wow. So the bowls that I play really helped to elevate the frequency, and the people there that night got to experience that. It was cool. As I was walking off stage, people were like, "What were you playing? What are those instruments? Tell me more." I also just led a retreat in Bali. I got to share this healing and teach in Venice, Italy in September. It was incredible. Right? Yeah, it was incredible. And I mean, the best part of all of it is getting to work with people on a day-to-day basis, you know, really working with people in depth. It's cool to have the glamour and to go do these big, fabulous, fancy things and travel around, but the one-on-one interactions and really seeing people have profound transformations has been amazing.
Isn't that a great word, transformation?
Yeah.
We use that over at the Sober Living at Startup Recovery, that we are a transformational a residence. Yeah. Not a sober living, but a transformational, and that word is it. That they arrive to your sound bath a certain way. Yeah. Just like I did on Tuesday night. And when you're done with us, I'm a different person.
Totally.
And it's all happened in 50 minutes. And I get it. That's what you're doing out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you, what do you do for your recovery when it comes to your mind, your body, and your spirit in order to keep you refreshed? Because you're giving away so much. What do you do to keep yourself vertical, rested, healed, well dressed? Yeah. Tell our audience what someone does.
A lot of self-care, a lot of healthy boundaries, a lot of being aware of my energy, and a lot of connecting with community and reaching out for support. So in any given day, I'll wake up, first thing, no matter what. I mean, I brush my teeth, take a cold shower, which
give
first
Bo
of all,
a kiss.
Give Bo a kiss, my dog. A cold shower is a really important part of my routine.
Tell me about that. I've heard a lot about that lately.
For me, it's a way of overcoming resistance. You know, if I can do something that I know is good for me, it improves your circulation, there's a number of health benefits. If I can overcome that resistance and say, oh my God, I don't want to get in the cold shower, do it first thing in the morning, I know I can do anything. It's just a little way of training my mind to overcome those obstacles in life and say, like, I can face them. So I take my cold shower, I sit down on my yoga mat, I meditate, I pray. I have a daily gratitude practice that I text to a number of women. I have one group of sponsees that I text it to, and they send theirs to me. I text it to my sponsor. I text it with my clients. Gratitude is so important. It's so important. I attend 12-step meetings. I call my sponsor. I reach out, and I work with sponsees. So yes, I do this professionally, but I also give it away for free. You know, it's so important to just be of service and come from that place of generosity. So, because you give and you receive, you know. So it's a matter of staying connected here and then staying connected up there.
I have my last question for you. What is legacy? And what is your legacy?
Legacy is, you know, the impact that we leave in this world. It's what we leave behind. We're here in this physical human form for a short time. And once our physical self is gone, you know, hopefully we leave something, we've transformed the world in some way. So my hope, my intention is for my legacy to be a legacy of love, self-love, and self-acceptance, because I really see that when we learn and experience loving ourselves, fully accepting ourselves, all of ourselves, you know, the pretty, the ugly, all of it, we heal. And when we heal ourselves, then we heal this world.
Well, thank you. I love you.
I love you.
You're the best.
Thank you so much.
I just want to say that's Susy Schieffelin. She is a sound bath guru. Once was under the AKA the Copper Vessel, but yeah, look her up, book her, and let her work her magic on her. She certainly has transformational powers. I use her myself. She's one of my tools in my recovery playbook, and it's just been awesome to watch your recovery and the business you've built out of it. It's really, truly magical.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a joy to be on this journey with you and to get to be a part of Startup. And if anyone has questions or wants to reach out, if I can ever support you on your journey, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find me on Instagram as The Copper Vessel, and my website is thecoppervessel.com. So thank you so much, Gregg.
Thank you, my love. Beautiful person. All right. Thank you, guys.